Hey everybody! Thanks so much for joining me today. We have a good one, Tori and I. Hi Tori, how you doing?
Good. How are
I'm
you?
good. Thank you, friend. Thank you for always joining me in these very important. Even though we're gonna laugh, we are, but we're also gonna get frustrated here.
As always, as per usual, a healthy balance of both, I think. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's just get into this, everyone, because as you all probably know, Blossom, who I've had interaction with, who's a complete grifter and liar as far as I'm concerned. Actually, I'm gonna to the people out there who hate when I say she to that. I'm just gonna do it because it's just gonna come out that way. But that being said, I believe Blossom is a grifter. I believe Blossom is a little bit of a nutcase, and maybe not a little bit, and I think that they use Blossom in these spaces to uh, prove a point that they're trying to show that transgender people are insane. What do you
Yeah.
think?
And
Yeah.
and Blossom does not speak for us. That is really what we want to get across here. Before any of you
Yep.
watch any of this is not us. This is not what we stand for. This is
That's
not
right.
she
I know. We're just gonna do it. It's fine. Don't worry.
does not speak for us. And it's
Nope.
just ugh. And you'll see why.
It's cringy upon cringy upon cringy. So I just wanted to have us say that before we want you all to know that this person does not represent us, and I think that we're both frustrated by the fact that Blossom is getting all of this platforming and airtime, and I just came to the conclusion that these major platforms are using Blossom. Because they're trying to actually prove that transgender people are nuts.
And Blossom will jump on it because she's narcissistic and all about building her platform and
That's
pushing
right.
herself up there,
That's
like
right.
trying to get to the exposure. It's like, girl, this is not the exposure. Thank you.
It is sick. And I'm whatever trans community, you're eating yourselves alive. You're eating yourselves alive. And I'll say it one more time before we get into this. I am not part of the trans community, just so you know.
Retweet.
We're not we do not represent, nor do we want to even be associated with the wing nuts. Okay, let me bring up which one
All right, let's
would
get
you
into
like?
it.
So has Trump's trans ban unleashed a new wave of misery for trans people everywhere, as some claim? Or is he simply restoring much needed common sense in a way that, frankly, most voters fully agree with? But joining me to debate all this is Blossom C. Brown, a transgender activist who sparred with Michael Knowles on Jubilee this week. The great Riley Gaines, who has been a fantastic trailblazer
Yay.
for safeguarding women's rights in all this, is the host of Gaines for Girls on Outkick. You had a front row seat, Riley, at the White House when the president signed that executive order, which was quite a moment. First of all, how did you feel being there for that moment in history, which you've campaigned so hard for?
Well, thank you, Piers, for having me on. Always a joy to be on with you. There was a lot of emotions. Of course, it's a bit bewildering that this is something that's necessary, that a sitting president has to take time out of his day, out of his busy day, to use his executive powers to declare, number one, that men and women are different, and then to further declare that men do not belong in women's sports. But nonetheless, it is necessary. I would argue that it was urgent. So this type of moral clarity and decisiveness is... I just feel vindicated. The past 3 years, me personally, and I know women who have been fighting much longer than I have, the past 3 years, it's been an uphill battle. Not only were we as women, as female athletes, I guess in particular, not only were we ignored and stonewalled, we were actually reprimanded if we dared to oppose this movement. If we dared to even question this movement, we as women were reprimanded.
That's right.
So to finally have a seat at the table and to have a president who is willing to listen to us,
Yes.
I just feel grateful. I feel grateful for God's mercy that we don't deserve, and I feel entirely vindicated.
So
Blossom's body
I know
language.
she's freaking out. She's biting at the bit to like get her voice in there. But I'm trying to be nice. But that being said, look, here's the deal. I'm a female. I was a female athlete, and I was a high-ranking female athlete. No way would that ever fly, ever, when I was running. And today, it should never fly. There is no reason why any trans woman with any morals or ethics would ever think it's okay. The ones who are complaining to run in the women's races are exactly what Piers said: mediocre male athletes. That is my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No,
Yeah.
I was not an athlete. Really. I mean, I did a little basketball and baseball because my parents were trying to figure out what I would like, and I didn't like
Yeah.
any of them.
Sure.
But I totally agree. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense. You hit it on the nail on the head. Piers hit the nail on the head.
Why would
in a shady way, but it works.
But why would we do that? Why would even the trans community think it's okay to actually take away the dreams of a woman and a young girl? Why would we do that? If you want to play on a co-ed team, right? And also go run in the men's place and be a trans woman running in the men's thing. And that could create a whole new sort of category under there, right? It's like the bathroom situation. Why are we using the women's bathroom to create this next space? Why aren't we using the men's bathroom where men don't care who goes in the toilet, right? Instead, we're always encroaching on women's spaces. And I just see it in sports. I see it in this. I see it in so many. And it's not anti-trans for me to say this. I'm saying it as somebody who grew up most of my life in the female space and really having to fight to get those. But back when I ran, women didn't get paid to be athletes. Women didn't get to go to do certain kinds of things. And no one came to see women's sports. Women fought to get to this space. And now a bunch of guys who, that's fine, are trans identified, think they're just going to come over and run all over women, where those records will be broken and they'll never go back to normal, right, times again, ever.
Right. Because all the arguments about like being on hormones and stuff, your body changes and you lose muscle mass, but
I don't care.
Still, biologically, the difference between men and women when it comes to like bone density and like the structure of the body is different. Like that's evolution. People that believe in evolution.
Look at Blossom.
Evolution. Yeah.
Look at Blossom.
See hers powerhouse.
And Blossom says she's been on hormones for 20 years, which I don't believe. I just don't. I don't believe it. But that's just me not believing it, because look at that. Look at that. It's a linebacker. Okay. You could play pro football with that neck and those shoulders and that height, and you are like scary. I sat next to you. Okay.
Well, there's that. You experienced it. You have lived experience.
I'm this big next to Bloss.
You have lived experience. And coming from someone who I know I don't have the best wigs, but girl, if you're going on these shows, invest in better wigs.
The wig. Oh, like, Blossom, you're asking for it. Girl, you're going to get torn up by all the dolls. Sorry, but you let yourself there.
Welcome to the cloud.
Right. I think that visual of President Trump surrounded by all of these young girls with dreams and aspirations and hopes for a future. I think that visual is one of the most iconic pictures that will come out of and that's saying a lot, considering this man has a mugshot.
Yeah, I mean, the two images I'll be remembering from all that involving you were you with Trump when that happened, but also you being mobbed literally in a vicious, horrible, threatening way by a gang of people wanting to cause you physically harm.
Why is that
because you were standing up for women's rights, not least for safety, which seemed to me completely outrageous. Blossom, I can see you making faces there. I've got one question to start this debate with you. Why do we separate the sexes at the Olympics?
Boom!
First of all, I want to say shout out to Cece Tolfer. I've met her before. She is a magnificent person, and she is very bad.
Can't answer the question. That deflects with, let me give a shout out to another black trans woman. Like, God, you're such a loser.
Can't answer the basic question. So technically, Blossom, why has this always been a thing? Why have we separated men and women? Why?
Why do we have men and women's toilets? Why do we have men and women's saunas? Why do we have men and women's sports? Because they don't know. I don't know. I'm just dying to dig in the background of this person and see where they came from and how they grew up. And, were they bullied, or like, were they a linebacker on the football team and then got into wearing women's panties and that became like a fetish? And then now because of that, I just think like this person is such a bad, really not even, I don't care about the trans part, a bad person. inside.
Well, yeah. Just from the inside out. I mean, it quite literally blossoms.
Yes.
Sorry.
I'm gonna have to take out the part where I was like, she was wiggling around to move her. You know what? Because
but that was funny.
YouTube will get me for bullying.
It was funny.
At ASS, and I love her to death.
Who cares?
Let me say this.
We'll come to CC Telford in a moment. CC Telford might be a fabulous person.
Yes.
I'm going to come later to why I think what she does is completely wrong. But just on the question I asked, why do we separate the sexes at the Olympics?
If you actually, Piers, if you actually let me get to it, because you let Riley have her talking point, so I'm going to actually have my talking point right now. CC is definitely a wonderful person, and I think, let's be clear, Donald Trump is a complete moron. Donald Trump talks so much about race and fraud, and you're signing a whole executive order.
Here we go.
Of course.
She can't. She hasn't,
can't answer it.
She can't answer it. She can't get it. It actually proves the point.
Absolutely.
It actually proves the point.
100%.
If she gave a answer, well, because X, Y, and Z, and when trans women take hormones, they're the same rhetoric that they always say that it diminishes their testosterone, even though Blossom is 7 feet tall and a neck like a linebacker. She's been on hormones for 20 years. Like, she doesn't have an answer for it.
I mean, I would be mad. I guess I would be mad at the world and everyone else too if I was on transitioning for 20 years and still looked and act like that.
God, Blossom, thanks for the comedy. Seriously.
Yeah, literally. As someone who's been transitioning for almost 7 now, like,
look at you. Look at you. Oh, but she's a black trans woman, so don't forget.
That's right.
That's right. She's marginalized. She doesn't have anything.
Let me take several seats.
Oh my God, they're gonna be like, "You're two white privileged people."
Of course.
Whatever. Whatever. Okay, if you want to call me privileged, you go right ahead. That's your prerogative.
Banning trans women from playing sports. According to the NCAA, there are over 510,000 athletes. And within those athletes, there are only less than 10 trans athletes. So you mean to tell me Donald Trump signed an executive order for 0.002 of the population when trans people are only 1%? That's a waste. That is a waste. Trans people exist. There are more than 2 sexes. There are intersex people that exist.
Okay. All right. I have to say something. Here we go. I can almost tell you exactly what she's going to say. She's going to put intersex, which is going to piss intersex people off because intersex people are male and female together. Okay. They're not a different sex. And then intersex people don't want to be lumped into the trans space. They're using them. Okay. Number one. Number two, the way she's all 0, 0, 0 point, the numbers keep changing. Do you notice that? They're always making show me I want to know where those numbers are coming from. How do we know there's that many? What makes a trans person? All of the things that she's just spewing numbers.
Exactly. Because it's just like, what is it? Word vomit. Like, just
that's right.
Not answering the question, as Michael Knowles put, filibustering.
Totally.
Which she doesn't realize she's doing. She's quite literally doing that because not answering the question, throwing something completely out there, accusing, getting upset, getting defensive. Like, girl, you have nothing to argue about.
Defensiveness. That's exactly right. When people get defensive like that, they're hiding something. Okay. That was it. The Shakespeare quote, "Thou protest too much." Like when somebody's literally protesting constantly, something's up. I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I swear I'm not gay. I'm not gay. Like, yeah, okay, dude. Whatever. We caught you in the bathhouse the other day. I don't really care. It's okay to be gay. It's actually okay. Okay.
That it's nothing more than conservative propaganda that because Donald Trump is in power, he is able to use. I think Donald Trump should stop booty clapping to Elon Musk and actually get something done in this country. Wow. And eradicating trans people is not going to be it. And I stand 10 toes down on that.
Yep, we didn't answer the question.
Hold up. Wait a minute. You think she has 10 toes? She opened that one up. Secondly, stop bashing Trump. You lost. You lost because you guys are losers. The Democrats are losers. You liberals, woke weirdos, completely destroyed the whole party, and you lost. The whole country voted for Trump. So you got to sit with yourself and think about why Trump, because you kept pushing this trans agenda on little children and taking women's space.
Exactly. And wouldn't shut up about it. Like, you don't need to have it your whole identity and not shut up about it to be it. Like, just do it. If you are a born male and you want to be a girl or you want to be a woman, just be a woman then. Yeah. You don't have to put it out there every single day and go to clubs that are all about it and surround yourself with only people that are also live in the world, coexist, respect one another, and maybe, just maybe, your life will get better.
They don't want that though, because really, if you took trans away from Blossom, that person would have nothing, zero, nothing. It's actually their full 100% identity. That's all they talk about. That's all they live. They think they're so smart. It's just funny to watch people eat themselves up and go down. And, that's what I keep saying. That's why they use Blossom. They use Blossom to make a point. The conservatives are using Blossom to show that these people are crazy. And you wonder why all the trans rights just literally disappeared in the last.
And you wonder why. Exactly.
You wonder why. These are the people representing that community, not our community, their community.
That's true. You made a good point earlier. I don't think it was on camera, but like this is why they have these people speaking for the trans community, because it makes them look even more crazy when there are people that are sane, that are just existing, like you and I, that have put effort, just unspeakable amounts of effort in to pass as the other gender. Like,
you're not asking for anything. You have a job, you have a house, you're not making GoFundMe campaigns to fund your surgery. You're not doing any of the things that these people do,
but
because they feel right. That's right. They feel so entitled to everything, and now they lost it all. They lost it. I don't care. I'll be honest with you, Tori. I've had my passport, my birth certificate, everything changed for probably 20 years or 15, 20 years. I don't even know at this point. I don't care. If they decided next week to put my passport back to female, I really could give to. I've lived this way for so long, and I'm so grounded around it. People will look at it and laugh, and then it will open up. And it's actually, for me, I'm the guy who loves to meet people. So I'm like thinking to myself, it's just going to open conversation, and we're going to laugh about it. And these people who are so proud to be trans, yet they need their gender marker to be the opposite sex. Well, then you're actually contradicting yourself, because if you're so proud to be trans, then just have that trans passport, and then you'll just have to walk through and say, I'm trans. That's all you're going to have to do.
And is it something that you look at every day? Because I'll tell you, I don't look at my passport every day. I don't look at my driver's license.
You don't even use it.
I only look at my driver's license if I get pulled over or have to put my driver's numbers in for whatever. And I'm like, I don't honestly look at it. Like, I know it's there. It's nice because it's what I'm giving on the daily basis in where I live. But
it's not going to, you can leave, every single trans person can leave this country. Everyone, your passport just has to be your biological sex. Sorry. That's the real. No more X's, no more nonsense, no more Z's, M's, Z's, none of that nonsense. It's like, no, you guys open the door for this. It just blows my mind when people don't take responsibility for the reason why things are happening, and they won't. They'll never take responsibility for it. But I just wanted to put that out there. Like, I don't care. I don't really care if someone sees F on any of my stuff. It's like, I'm so grounded in my space, and I don't need that. They need I think what I'm trying to say is they need this validation. They need it. They cannot live without it. Right?
Yep. Which is created from that whole woke mindset, this whole group of people that cannot think anything other than what their little group thinks. They don't live in the real world. They live in delusion. 100% delusion. And that's what you and I are always calling out, but then people call us all kinds of things. And I'm like,
that's right.
You guys are seriously.
That's because they're envious. You can see the envy. They're very envious of people like us who have made the effort. And let's try to get through a little more of this insanity.
I'll say very briefly, this argument that it's a small percentage of the population, I hope you realize it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. It's not for every one male that's participating in a women's sport, it's one woman that's affected.
Right.
In my sport, at our national championships, one male displaced 14,000 women. And I can speak for myself. I can speak for my teammates. I can speak for 99% of other female competitors on that pool deck. We all felt betrayed. We all felt violated in the locker room. We all felt it was unfair, but not enough people were courageous enough to say it because they were terrified. They were terrified of the name calling that you just pursued. Even, I mean, the first thing you say is Donald Trump is a moron. What 20-year-old girl wants to be called transphobic or any of the slurs that have been thrown my way? I can certainly attest to. Piers mentioned,
Riley, I think you're trying to, Riley, I think you're just trying to make it seem like that trans people are a threat to cis women in the breast room, and that's not the case. Trans women and cis women should be coming together. Trans women are not a threat to cis women.
Okay, but here's the look. But Blossom.
And I think that y'all have ran on that ideology. Y'all have ran on that ideology.
Blossom, hang on.
And you're going to have to specifically tell me cases. Can you specifically tell me cases?
Like a child.
Trans women have hurt cis women in the restroom.
Blossom.
I'd like to know that,
Blossom.
Like a
we
child.
don't use things like words like cis on here because no one understands it. Let's just.
Well, I use cisgender, so that's where I
I'm sure
come
you
from,
do,
and
but
that's
nobody.
what I like to use. That's in my vocabulary.
Yeah, but nobody else understands it. Let's just stick to my question. My question for you, which you
Well,
have.
just because
hang on,
you don't understand, you just don't
hang
have
on,
the intellectual
Blossom.
capacity.
Blossom.
Piers. You don't have the intellectual capacity to understand.
Oh, nobody has.
Just to explain something, you're appearing on a show called Piers Morgan Uncensored. That means you can say whatever you want.
I know all about you, Piers.
Okay, you can.
And I know how you're good at race baiting. I know how you're good at
here we go.
to face you.
Just to be clear,
face you one-on-one.
When do you think I've ever race baited?
Crickets.
Honey, you were in that whole incident with Sharon Osbourne.
Crickets. There was like a long ass pause there. See, there she goes again. I'm a black trans woman, race baiting, transphobia. There's a cis women. She's using all the language.
Flips everything around on the other person. It's Darbo again.
Yes.
Literally again.
Ooh, like she just, it's so great. I just love
race baiting. Race baiting. Who is the very first person to bring up race every single time?
There you go. There you go.
Literally Blossom.
Totally killing herself. Just killing herself. Like, God, it's so cringy.
Yes. Let's not forget.
Oh, no, I do. I do.
But we're not here to talk about Miss Sharon Osbourne.
No. What do you think happened there?
We're not here to talk about Miss Sharon Osbourne.
Yes, what do you think?
We're here to talk about trans people in sports.
Hang on, you've raised
you are notorious.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about the Sharon Osbourne thing. Let me tell you what. Since you've raised it.
I'm a black trans woman.
Blossom, stop talking for a moment.
So many times.
Been there for that moment in history, which.
All you have. That's all you are.
Did it. She's so gaslit the whole thing back to race. I'm a black trans woman. You're a racist. No one's even talking about the color. We're talking about women's sports.
Yes. Nobody is talking about everything's inherently race involved. Does it have to be?
No, it does not. And you could get through the whole comment. It's all her deflection. It's her deflection. She is crazy. She's
got nothing to say. Nothing of value to say. There's no facts to back everything up. Everything's what's the word?
Disgusting.
Yeah. Perfect. No, her lived experience as a black trans Buck, I don't know if you know this or not. She's a black trans woman.
I didn't know. Don't speak over a white trans man.
Right.
Don't do it. Right. I'm going to start saying that. I'm literally going to start saying that. Don't start speaking over a white trans man.
Absolutely.
Like, what? Okay, wait. Let's just see. There's a little bit more here. It's so good.
Talking for a moment.
Cut me off so many times since I've been here.
Okay,
I know. I love
that.
Can we have a conversation, please?
You give the white girl all the time to talk.
Can we have a conversation, please?
And the black girl is having to speak.
Actually, at the moment, the black girl is doing all the talking. So hang on. Can I just say something, please?
Riley's all
right. That's my view.
Blossom, stop talking. Support for today's show comes from a business focused on the critical issue of prosperity.
Oh my God.
Can we get an actual fact check on the airtime Blossom had just saying nonsense versus Riley saying facts and
facts
saying like, can we actually? Oh, but you gave the white girl. Shut up.
You give the white girl so much time. You literally spoke over the white girl. You literally spoke over the white man. You were just like, all you talked about was race.
Literally. And
she's
later
the
in the interview,
she's the actual race baiter.
100%. Yeah. And later in the interview, she literally says black people can't be racist.
Oh my God. Like I'm just done. That's it. Like, any people we can't look at her anymore. We can't, the thing is, I don't even want to give Blossom airtime, I'll be honest with you. But we had to do this today because Tori and I just text each other like, wow, I'm so like, we were just so upset about this because, I think more for you than me because of being a trans woman. And these is on some level a representation more of you than me. I just can't even imagine how you feel. I feel so sad for the whole thing.
Well, and then the whole fact that it's still only trans women that are getting this like talking point, this airtime.
Platformed. Totally. I don't get that opportunities as much. Why aren't I on? And whatever. I'm not that kind of guy. Like, I should be on that show. Like, have any trans man. Yeah, I don't care. Have any trans man who also is also going to have a different opinion than the trans community. Have Marcus Dibbs or the offensive tranny. Go ahead and have him. Have somebody who's going to have the same opinion as me on those shows. Jubilee used to have me on all the time. They stopped having me on because I don't side with because it's a woke show now. And it wasn't when it first started. I probably did 5 or 6 Jubilees when it used to be actually very, very
middle ground,
unbiased. It was actually middle ground. And then it just turned into a woke crap show.
But yeah, no, that whole interview. I mean, we don't have time to watch it all, but people should actually watch that whole thing because it's just literally shooting ourselves in the foot as a trans community.
Totally. I have to write something down here because I want to maybe put it in the title. I think race baiter. That's such a great term. She's always saying everyone's race baiting, and like she's the ultimate race baiter. The ultimate. Yeah.
Oh
it's
God!
So gross.
But who are we? We're two white trans people.
Privileged. We're white privileged, thin. Oh, you wait. I did one that's
thin.
Gonna come out. You wait. Thin. Someone said,
take care of ourselves, care about our health.
Literally said, I acknowledge my privilege as a white, thin, trans woman. I'm like, what does thin have to do with anything? What now? It's thin. Oh my God!
It doesn't end. It
doesn't end.
The identities never end. Just pick one. Pick one for the day.
Oh my God! So thanks, Tori, for joining me. It's really,
thank you.
It's hilarious, but it's not. It's actually barfy.
Like we said in the beginning, it's going to be a mixture of comedy and just frustration, and that's what you got. I really hope that's what you guys got because that's what we got.
Well, they love you here, so that's the great thing. And also, thanks for being a really beautiful, awesome, on many levels, not just physically, but your intelligence, everything, a representation of transsexual women that I think the world needs to see. And you by just being present and having these conversations, you're helping to bring back sanity and also save us. I think what's the word I'm looking for? Like we have. We're trying to save ourselves, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We're here because we also need to save ourselves from being eliminated with all the rest of the taking out the trash.
Lumped in. We get lumped in. Yeah.
That's
and people are like, why are you supporting people that are trying to get rid of us? Because it's like, they're not trying to get rid of me.
They're not trying to get rid of us. It's you.
They don't care.
They're taking out the trash. And we're the part of the recycling. We're not the trash. We're supposed to be in the recycling bin.
Love it. Yes, we are the recycling. Never forget. We're just recycling.
Oh my God. Thanks, Tori. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thanks everybody for joining us. Love you guys. Leave us awesome comments like you always do. You can leave bad ones if you want, but whatever. Anyway, we don't care. We actually don't care. Hey everyone, welcome back. Nice to see you. And here we go with another one. I wanted to do this one on the Supreme Court and ACLU arguing that Tennessee banning gender affirming care is unconstitutional. Anyway, I listened to the whole thing. It was actually quite fascinating. And this guy's name is Chase Strangio, who's a trans man who is arguing in favor of childhood transitioning and calling it unconstitutional. But anyway, let's just get into this because there's some stuff to unpack here and talk about. So thanks again for joining me. I totally appreciate it and helping this channel grow. It's super awesome of you guys. So let's listen to this first. Here's Chase Strangio on CNN.
Strangio, Chase, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. So the case comes at a time when 26 states have passed laws restricting healthcare treatments for transgender youth, according to a CNN analysis of data from the nonprofit think tank Movement Advancement Project. So how do you plan to argue before the U.S. Supreme Court in a case that could have wide-ranging implications beyond the state of Tennessee?
Well, thank you for having me, Jake. And obviously, this is a critical inflection point for transgender people across the country. We're coming off of an election season where transgender people played an outside role in people's consciousness in terms of the way in which we were situated as a threat to others. And when we look at the map of states that ban this type of evidence-based healthcare, we went from 0 states that had these bans in 2020 to now more than half the country. So before the court tomorrow,
do you all remember where the LA Children's Hospital Dr. Olson did a study that was not released? Do you remember that? A $10 million government-funded study because she didn't want to release it because they didn't like the outcome, which shows that puberty blockers do not help the long-term outcome of these kids. So right there off the bat, Chase is totally making stuff up.
The question is really a simple one as I see it. This is a law that bans medical treatment only when it is prescribed inconsistent with an individual's sex. Our argument is that treats people differently.
That's actually not true. That's the other thing that they're arguing. They're arguing that it's inconsistent with the person's sex. That's not true. It's a blanket ban. It's a blanket ban on girls and boys. It's not a ban just for girls or just for boys. They're trying to use it as sex discrimination. It's not. That's not an argument. It's not sex discrimination. Okay. They're not basing the stopping of these hormones on just girls getting it or just boys. It's boys and girls. So right there's a flaw in their argument.
Because of their sex, and therefore the court has to treat it like all other forms of sex discrimination, and that's why it's unconstitutional.
No.
So attorneys representing the state of Tennessee told the U.S. Supreme Court, quote, if the government's theory holds, men who identify as women could claim constitutionally based access to women's bathrooms, women's locker rooms, and women's sports. Accepting that theory would perversely erode women's rights and jeopardize landmark statutes protecting women's equal access to schools, winners' podiums, and beyond. What's your response to that?
Well, I obviously disagree with that premise that allowing transgender women into women's sports or women's bathroom is a threat to women, but it is also not the question before the.
You know what blows my mind? This person is a biological female, and they're just throwing women under the bus. Of course, it's a threat to women. We've already been showing you all that, but it's so funny how people just want to see what they want to see. Already, all of his arguments, I can totally show you that they're not true. That's 100% a threat, and we have actually been showing you that the minute a trans woman enters a woman's race, she always wins. Of course she does. How is that not a threat? Okay, I guess it depends on what you think a threat is, Chase. Okay, so it is a threat to people who've worked their butt off, women specifically, to get to win, and they are going to lose the minute that this man who identifies as a woman and pretending to be a woman and gets into the race. So, nope, you're wrong.
Court in this case. And in fact, it is a totally independent question about whether a law that bans medical care for transgender adolescents discriminates against people based on sex versus these separate cases that proceed.
Where's the discrimination based on sex? It's a blanket ban on boys and girls. I'm so confused on what he's talking about. It's not sex discrimination in any way, shape, or form. But, watch, they're backpedaling on biological sex as well.
Any of these healthcare bans will continue to be litigated in the courts regardless of the outcome here. So that clearly is conflating a bunch of different questions. The question before the court tomorrow is about whether banning medical care, overriding the consent of parents, the recommendations of doctors is a violation of equal protection.
What do you say to physicians who are sensitive and supportive of trans kids, obviously don't want ideation, etc., but wonder if there is enough data as of now to prove that it is beneficial to allow these sort of treatments before the age of 18.
So I would say three things. And the first is we have decades of both clinical experience and research data showing that this is medical treatment that provides critical benefits to adolescents who need it. And so this is not new. This is not new medication. And so we have that information. We have long-term studies that track people for 5, 6.
What is long-term studies? First, I don't know. Everything he's saying, I'm going to tell you right now, is not true.
Years. The Supreme Court this week heard arguments in an FDA case in which the FDA referred to long-term as being 6 months of follow-up.
Here's the problem. The FDA determines that 6 months is a long-term study. Are you willing to put your kid into an irreversible situation because there's 6 months of study? And then he also, Chase, said that we have 6 to 7 years of studies. Where are they? Where are they? That's not true, because all these medications are new, and also they are prescribed off-label. Lupron is off-label prescription to trans kids.
We have years of follow-up, and so that's the first thing. And then the second thing I would say is nobody has to provide this medication to adolescents. These are not doctors being forced to provide this medication. These are doctors who are wanting to treat their patients in the best way that they know how, based on the best available evidence to us. And these are young people who may have known since they were 2 years old exactly who they are, who suffered for 6, 7 years before they...
Chase literally just said 2 years old. They know who they are. Sorry, I don't care anything else you said, Chase, but really, dude, really, 2 years old, you just, oh my God, I don't even know what to say. When somebody says that a 2-year-old knows they're trans, done with me. You're done. You have no respect. You don't understand kids. You are totally lying. You are lying. This is a lawyer for the ACLU, by the way. And now you need to see why the ACLU has just totally blown it, hiring some wingnut like this to say a 2-year-old knows they're Mickey Mouse.
Had any relief. And what's happening here, it's not the kids who are consenting to this treatment, it's the parents who are consenting to the treatment. And as a parent, I would say when our children are suffering, we are suffering. And these are parents who love their children, who are listening to the...
No one's saying these parents don't love their children, but you're giving them the wrong message, okay? And when your children suffers, you suffer. What? Wait a minute here. When your children is saying they're trans, you need to figure that out by going to a lot of different doctors, getting different opinions, not just some wingnut affirmation therapist who says, oh yeah, your child is 2 and knows that they're trans, and then here, let's give them a shot to make sure that they are not functioning properly for the rest of their life, because all we care about is that they're looking like a man or a woman. That's really basically what gender affirming care is for children, is making sure that their physical space looks like a man or a woman. What about the internal space with the medication that you're shoving in, that there is no long-term understanding of what this is going to do to a child? Wow, dude, really? Wow. Okay, so that just annoyed me, as you can tell. And so I want to bring up this next one here.
The Supreme Court now deciding a major case about irreversible gender procedures in children. The Biden administration is fighting Tennessee's attorney general, who is overseeing that state's ban on these procedures. Justice Samuel Alito tore into the argument from transgender activists.
On page 195 of the Cass report, it says, there is no evidence that gender affirmative treatments reduce.
What I think that is referring to is there is no evidence in the studies that this treatment reduces completed.
Are there individuals who are born male, assigned male at birth, who at one point identify as female, but then later come to identify as male, and likewise?
There are such people. I agree with that.
So it's not an immutable characteristic, is it?
Well, I think people's understanding of it shifts, but the evidence shows that there is at least a strong underlying basis.
Social media influencer and activist Robbie Starbuck wrote, Justice Alito got their lawyer to admit that some natural-born women who later say their men return later to admitting they're women. This is not an immutable characteristic by definition. Annihilation of their entire legal premise. Tennessee Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti defended the law before the high court, arguing
it is just unbelievable to me that they are. So first off, remember that whole trope of if you don't give your kid this gender affirming care, they're going to off themselves. They just admitted that that's not actually true. Just admitted it right there in court. That's not true. That's not true. And also, it's just so pathetic. And also admits that this is a biological space. You can't change your sex. And also, this whole identity, fluidity, all of it is crashing down. All of it's crashing down, and they have to admit it. Okay, so I found this last thing of these parents that were at this whole Senate thing, picketing out front, trans kids are kids. So these two people, they have a trans child. But this is the most important part of what they said, because they're just saying the same nonsense they all say about their trans kids. Okay, but this is the part that I find to be the most important.
At what age do you think most trans kids determine that they're trans?
Violet told us when she was 1.5. She's been telling us since
Violet told us when she was 1.5. How? How did Violet tell you when she was 1.5? Mommy, I'm trans. How? I just really want to know what words came out of your child's mouth. That did the actual words "I'm trans" come out of a 1.5-year-old child? I'm gonna call BS on that one. But listen,
she could speak. So she knew since birth.
Wait, I got all. She knew since birth. That's it. I'm done with you people. I hope this is just out of control. What parent would say that? She knew since birth. I mean, that's it. I'm ending it on that because I just think my brain is about to explode, and I'm sure yours. So that's their argument. And they're backpedaling on so much stuff. And no, there isn't long term. And no, a 2-year-old doesn't know. And you sound insane. And I hope to God that these people see the nonsense of this whole ideology and yank the rug right out from underneath them, and we save these children from these wingnuts who clearly have some ideological space for these children to become experiments for something that I'm not really sure is. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about the lawsuit by this detransitioner named Clementine Breen. She's 20 or 21 years old, and she started taking hormones at 12, or puberty blockers 13. Anyway, let me read this to you because it's actually so incredible. I just can't even believe this is happening. Thank God. Finally, this is happening. So one of the doctors is being sued. I'll read this first. America's best known practitioner of youth gender medicine is being sued. Joanna Olson Kennedy leads the Center of Trans Youth at LA Children's Hospital. One of the patients thinks she has been negligent. I think she has. Basically, I'm just going to scroll down here. Dr. Olson Kennedy is being sued by a former patient, Clementine Breen, who believes that she was harmed precisely by a lack of gatekeeping, which we've all been saying, and many of Miss Breen's claims appear to be backed up by Dr. Olson Kennedy's own patient notes, which Miss Breen and her legal team have shared with The Economist. The medical negligence lawsuit was filed on December 5th in California. Miss Breen is a 20-year-old drama student at UCLA whose treatment at Dr. Olson's clinic included puberty blockers at 12, hormones at 13, double mastectomy at 14. Everything they're saying isn't happening. So I want to get into this and bring you up this video of her actually talking about it, because it's going to be a lot stronger than if I just read this article.
Blockers, cross-sex hormones, and a double mastectomy is now suing one of America's most prominent gender-affirming care practitioners. Let's bring in detransitioner Clementine Breen and Campbell Miller Payne founding partner Jordan Campbell. Thank you both for coming on. Welcome to you, Clementine. It's great to meet you on set. Tell me why you are suing Dr. Olson Kennedy, one of these prominent doctors in the country.
Well, as much as I'd like financial reimbursement for the medical costs that this has caused me, I am mostly doing this because there's a lot of speculation online that this doesn't happen. Nobody's fast-tracked into this, and the lack of gatekeeping in this process is really absurd, and people like me fall through the cracks.
How old were you when you started?
I was about 12 when I started on puberty blockers.
What did your parents say?
My parents were really resistant originally, and they were pretty strongly believing that I was not transgender, and they were told by my former doctor that I was at very high risk for if they didn't agree to the treatment.
And you were not?
No, I was not at the time, and I only attempted after being on testosterone.
And
oh my God. Wow. It's all coming out, everybody. Takes a lot of guts for this young lady. I am so proud of her and so awesome. She's just awesome. Okay. Wow. You just heard it all right there. Wow.
When you finished, you were roughly how old?
I finished testosterone, or I fully stopped taking testosterone earlier this year.
And when did you decide this was not for you?
Earlier this year, after completing DBT therapy and sort of having to actually process my trauma for the first time, I sort of started thinking about my future and if I wanted to have children, and I couldn't imagine myself as someone's father.
Jordan.
So she didn't even get therapy before she's transitioning. If she would have gone through therapy, which we've all been saying, and dealt with her trauma, she would have never even gone down this road. Everything we've all been saying, this young lady is saying it all. And wow, just wow.
Talk, if you will, about the lawsuit, and I know you're trying to get this message out. What is the wider message you want people to take away from this?
Yeah, Trey. So, Clementine is suing for medical negligence, and her story is, of course, unique. But what I can tell you is it is by no means isolated. And so by that, I mean, we started our firm with the sole mission of representing detransitioners and victims of their families. And you hear very similar stories over and over and over of vulnerable children and young adults who are fast-tracked absolutely into completely life-altering, life-destroying, and family-shattering treatments purported that they can never come back from. And it is by no means isolated. It's happening every single day to scores of children across this country.
And that's what I'm wondering, because he says people think it's isolated, that these are very rare, and you're saying that's not the case.
No, I know tons of people that have detransitioned and tons of children that have transitioned, even younger than me, starting medical treatments. I grew up around lots of people through the clinic that I saw my doctor through, and seeing people dismiss it is really disheartening to me.
And what would you tell the younger you? What would you tell these younger people who were thinking the very same thing that you were thinking at 12 years old?
I mean, for me specifically, I wish I could have told myself that there is no right way to be female, and that if I hate myself for being female, that doesn't mean there's something physically wrong with me that I need to buy a cure for.
So, wow, it takes a lot of guts, I think, for this young lady who's only 20 years old. She went through all of this since the age of 12. It's just heartbreaking. But one thing she said that I think is super powerful is it is not an isolated incident, and it's happening so much more, and it's all coming out, and all of everything we've been saying is coming out, and it's just, the thing that breaks my heart mostly is there's just going to be so many of these young women who have somehow possibly destroyed their bodies by removing their breasts and taking hormones and becoming sterilized, and they're all young and just starting their life. And how did we let this happen? It's just so I want to play this other part. Hold on.
Clementine, how are you now?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing better. I'm going through the process of reconstructive surgery right now, which has been really, really challenging for me, and sort of deconstructing my whole identity and coming to terms with how much time I spent living as a whole different person has been really challenging, but overall I'm doing okay.
Your relationship with your parents?
It's gotten a lot better, actually. This has been really challenging to deal with for all of us, but I'm glad to sort of reconnect with them in this new way.
Is the future bright?
I hope so. I really hope so. I hope there's a good outcome from this.
Yeah.
Makes me want to cry. I'm not going to cry, but it makes me want to cry. I feel so frustrated by the whole thing. So I just really care about these kids, and I care about this young lady a lot, and we just got to give her a lot of love right now, because she's doing something that's going to change the whole narrative of, if you don't do this, their kid's going to kill themselves. She said it right there. They said it to her parents. The whole BS that we've all been lied to. Now, I'm going to bring this up because this is a very important part of this story, and this is the actual doctor.
My name is Dr. Johanna Olson. I'm the medical director for the Center for Trans Youth Health and Development at Children's Hospital Los Angeles. We have the largest trans youth clinic in the world with about 250 active patients and about 50 more that are on the waiting list waiting to get in.
So you can see we had,
wow.
This is 13 years old, this is not a great pointer, but we had 2 young people who had had chest surgery at 13, 5, at 14, 9, at 15, 9, at 16, and 8 at 17, and the rest 18 and older.
What?
So what type, well, some people weren't sure what type of surgery they had.
Some people weren't sure what type of surgery. She actually says it. Somebody was videotaping or with this whole thing. I don't think she even knew. But do you see how someone at 13, 14, 15, and I don't think some people didn't even know what kind of surgery. Are you actually kidding me? This lady has to go to jail.
We'll see people as young as age 15 if they've been affirmed in their gender for a long period of time and don't really have any other life complications that
Just wow.
That we need to really turn the table.
So this is the doctor who is the doctor of Jazz Jennings and does bottom surgery. But listen to this. She's like also one of the biggest. She heads WPATH, and she is the doctor that does all the bottom surgeries. But when you hear this,
around to the individual to say, look, these are permanent life-altering decisions that you're making, whether it's hormones or.
So the doctor's literally telling you they're life-altering, changing, irreversible, everything we've been saying, but the trans activists have been saying it's reversible. The actual doctor telling you it's not reversible. And these people, I swear to God. So, this is a very powerful thing that's happening right now with Clementine, Miss Breen, and she's going to change so much. And there's the lawsuits, money talks. It's an actual real thing. These lawsuits are going to change. Chloe Cole has one. She has one. I think there's a couple other ones that have one, but this is really a very important one because this one is going after Dr. Olson Kennedy, who is the biggest pusher. I'm going to call her a pusher of the puberty blockers. The one who did the study, didn't release it, all of it. So the house of cards is falling. Can't build your house on a false foundation. And all these people who hurt these young kids, and they've all been telling us this hasn't been happening. Well, yes, it has. And we all knew it, but here it is. So with that, I'm going to leave you with thank you so much for helping support getting this message out, and let's support this young lady and let's help get these messages out there because we have to stop this. This cannot be. How can you give somebody that at 12 years old and then she got her chest removed at 13 or 14? What? I mean, it's just mind-blowing to me. So I really value you a lot watching the channel. I value all of your input here. The comments, liking, subscribing to the channel is helping so much. I do appreciate you. I hope you feel it from me, seriously. And these are just so heartbreaking, but so powerful and so important. Have an awesome rest of your day. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to talk about something that is controversial. You know me, I don't really care about that. What I care about is reality and talking about things that people are being shamed to talk about. So with that, we're going to talk about quote unquote fat shaming and weight positivity and weight neutrality. So before I move forward, thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, doing all those things. I do appreciate you so much. Can't do it without you. So I want to get right into this because San Francisco, I guess, is the most insane space in the world these days. But they hired a person. Wait, I'm just going to bring this up because before I move forward, I want to let you know I'm not making fun. I don't want you to think I'm making fun. I'm doing this specifically because I do believe that we need to be honest about being obese or being overweight and how it can cause problems. Okay, so I am in no way making fun. I am in no way doing that, but I can't help but laugh at some of the things this person says because it's so absurd and ridiculous. So I'm just going to put that there so I don't get these comments that you're fat shaming. No, I'm not. I am in no way fat shaming. I'm talking about something that you are creating a space that we can't talk about because you call it fat shaming. So let me just bring this up first here because I think this is actually really important. This is from the headline of the New York Post, and it says, fat positivity expert hired by San Francisco Department of Health, unbelievable, to consult on weight stigma. What is weight stigma? The San Francisco Department of Health has hired a self-described anti-weight-based discrimination expert to consult on weight stigma and weight neutrality. You know, come on. Her name is Virgie Tovar, the author of You Have the Right to Remain Fat. Now, I just want to get that out of the way there so we can understand what we're talking about here. Yes, you have the right to remain fat. As an adult, you can do whatever you want. You can be obese. You can be all of the things that you need to do to make yourself comfortable to walk this world, okay? But let's be honest here. It is not healthy to be overweight. We know that is actual factual. So you can keep telling yourself that it's okay. It's again, your life. Okay. It's like me transitioning. I know what I'm getting myself into. I made this as an adult choice, and I understand the pros and the cons of doing this. And it's why I can do it. Okay. Whether or not you agree or disagree, I can still do this, though there are some negative things that can happen to me by doing this by putting a hormone in my body. But this isn't about me. So I just want to say that. So now this person has been hired by San Francisco to talk about fat shaming and that anyone has the right to be fat if they want to be. All of that is true. What we don't have the right to do is lie about why it is not okay to be overweight and how this does cause long-term health problems, especially for children. Okay? As an adult, do it. Go for it. Eat as much cake as you want, my friend. But we need to talk about children. And we have a high rate of obesity in young people today because of stuff like this. Okay, so I want to bring up this video right here.
Do you see the intersection really? What is your definition of health?
Yeah, that's really complicated, right?
Really?
I think I want to talk about that question, but I want to start by saying that, you know, no one has to be healthy. No, right? Like, I mean, it's like, no, like.
Wait, what? No one has to be healthy? I can't even comprehend that. What does that even mean? No one has to be. Everyone should be healthy, okay? Everyone should have the opportunity to be healthy. So first off, that's a really bizarre statement. Remember, this person is hired by the city of San Francisco to be the weight czar.
There is no governing body that's like out there putting, you know what I mean? It's like no one owes anybody that in either the traditional sense of the word or any other more innovative or, you know, more politicized, maybe even version of that word. So I think it's important to say like, and I want to back up and bring in intersectionality and say like, great, like.
Of course you do. Here we go. Watch the wokeness just seep out of this person. I want to back up here and bring up intersectionality. No, stay on point, lady. Stay on point. We're talking about fatness and weight neutrality. Now you're going to zoom off into your woke craziness.
Look at the disabled community,
oh my
right?
God.
Like I think.
Well, you want to put fatness with disabled? That's on you, my friend.
People with disabilities have, and activists within that space have.
Now, when you're overweight, couldn't that cause you to be disabled, have a hard time walking? Now you have health problems starting to happen. So, okay, thank you for bringing that up.
Consistently been saying like I'm never going to be your notion of healthy. That doesn't mean I don't get to be a full human. You get to treat me some kind of.
No, of course, 100%. I do not think it is okay to laugh at people who are overweight and do all that stuff. I think it's important to talk to them about how to get healthy. 100% agree with you on that. But what I don't agree with is that now you're trying to make it seem like it's completely normal and healthy to be overweight. We know it is not. It's not.
Way, right? And so I think that I love taking that principle within disability rights to fat activism and to understanding the fatness. So I want to start there, right? Like no matter what size you are, you don't owe anybody else your health. But I mean, for me, right, like in an ideal world where, like in an ideal world, there wouldn't be health-based gatekeeping at all.
What do you mean you don't owe anybody else? You owe it to yourself. You are actually creating such a bad environment for people to see this. It is, I don't even know. It frustrates me. as somebody who just did a video on the killing of that CEO because the healthcare industry is so disgusting, the reason why the healthcare industry is so disgusting is because we're not talking about solutions. We're not talking about creating healthier people. We're talking about stuff like this. And what happens when you are overweight and fat? What happens is you start to have problems with your body and diabetes and cancer and all kinds of, it's hard to walk up and down the stairs. You can't breathe. Your heart. Come on, man. Just come on. I just can't help it. I'm so sorry. I can't, because I don't understand this idea that now they hired a weight czar. It's just pathetic. Watch this one.
RFI. If you're like many women, you've been to a birthday party or a small office gathering, an event that's meant to bring people together. There's swinging tunes, some adult beverages, and good convo. And then it comes time to cut the cake, and someone decides to ruin everything.
Oh my God, that slice is huge. That slice is bigger than Beyonce's paycheck. Can you cut me half of that?
A cake-related fat-phobic incident, or CRFI, is that moment when it's time to eat delicious cake and it's interrupted by a moralizing impulse. Inevitably, there's always someone at the party who has to declare publicly that their slice is too large, and that the person who's cutting the cake, almost invariably a woman, must do some disproportionate amount of labor in order to accommodate their need to feel superior. Let's take a look.
Can you do a little bit, can you scrape all the frosting off and
wow, this is actually insane, you guys. So here we go again. If you have issues about going to a party and somebody brings up food stuff, why don't you just walk away from the table? Why is everything about you and your fatness? Okay, so maybe this person is dealing with their own stuff and then they're just making these comments. But now you can't make these comments because somebody who is fat might get upset about these comments. Do you see the hypocrisy in all of this? So on some level, I feel like she is trying to shame people like maybe myself who would like a smaller slice of cake because I don't want to get overweight, and I do think I feel healthier not being overweight. And so now what, you're shaming me because I say give me half of that slice of cake? The absurdity of this whole conversation is I just can't seem to get the right words out because I'm just shocked that they have hired somebody to promote fat positivity.
Cultural attitude is that the solution to fat phobia is for fat people to become thin people.
I am one of the many plus size people and people of color who didn't get the eating disorder diagnosis or treatment that they needed because of things like bias inherent to the way that
Wait, she just admitted that she didn't get the diagnosis when she was young, that it is not okay to have a DD. She just admitted it right there. Like, if she would have got the diagnosis as a young person, that it's not okay that you are overweight as a young person, you might have not grown up being, that's what I heard. That's exactly what I heard. So like I said earlier on in this video, we need to talk about this with the young people. We cannot encourage young people to be overweight.
Disorders are diagnosed currently.
There's a lot of ways in which thinness and fitness become a stand-in for whiteness and masculinity and heterosexuality.
Holy moly. Oh my gosh. Now she's literally blaming it, here we go, on white people and heterosexuality. And what are you No, sorry, you are totally wrong. 100% wrong about that. And here we go again. This is that DEI training stuff where everything is the white people's fault and everything is heterosexual men's fault and toxic masculinity, as opposed to telling people to take responsibility for yourself. Okay. You know what, friend? You need to start teaching people to take responsibility for themselves. Like I said in the beginning of this video, if you want to be fat and you want to be comfortable in your fat body, more power to you, friend. But stop promoting something that is actually unhealthy. Stop telling us, okay, who want to be healthy, and that we believe that a long-term solution to living healthier is eating healthier, not being overweight, exercising, all the things that we know that are actually true and have actually been proven, you are trying to say is the problem of the white people and men and heterosexuality. This is what San Francisco has become. They are hot. They pay for this person to say this to other people. And in turn, it is going to cause a huge problem, not only for people and their own health, but also teaching young people that it is okay to have bad eating habits. So with that, I hope you don't think I'm fat phobic, because I'm not. I care about people, and I care about the truth, and I care about teaching people to have healthier life choices, healthier way of being, and healthier way of walking through this world. I thank you all so much for watching, subscribing, commenting, and helping this channel move forward. So together we can literally have these conversations and hopefully get the truth. You know, it's all about the kids. All about the kids. We got to start retraining these kids around the unhealthy habits that are being taught to them, and in the long run will hurt them as adults.